Hello, my ladies. How are my undomesticated goddesses doing? This is Tonya from Freedom at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure of other people's expectations. Now, it's been a while since my last episode. I've been focusing a lot more on the podcast side of things, but I just wanted to come back into my space where I started initially, second only to my blog, freedomatthecrossroads.com, of which I am the founder. Yes. But I came back because this platform has been really near and dear to my heart. I haven't put in as much time lately as I have wanted to, simply because I've been focusing on podcast side of things. So for those of you who don't know, I am a women's fit lifestyle coach, speaker, and self-care advocate for women. And my mission here is to really help educate women on the power of self-care and how you can use it as a tool and as a pathway for self-empowerment and personal development. And in a lot of instances, women, we constantly put ourselves at the bottom of the list. We've been conditioned to devalue ourselves. We've been conditioned to allowing ourselves to be objectified rather than embracing our personhood and taking ownership of who we are, taking ownership of our health, taking ownership of our fitness, our mentality, our mindsets, our personal growth. And we are in a powerful time, a time of great movement and power and potential, whereby women all over the globe, particularly in places that have traditionally been subjugated, oppressed, suppressed, really bound by the patriarchal societies that they live in. When I speak of those societies, I speak of places in Africa, large segments of Africa, the Middle East. But the irony that I am observing lately is that the West is really no different from all of these areas I've just named. The only thing now is that this patriarchy, the misogyny, the domestication and conditioning of women is alive and well in the West too. And in some instances, it's even uglier because it's being unmasked in very colorful ways. We see it in the political sphere here in the US and the battle for women's reproductive health. And it's really, on some levels it's sad, and then on some levels it just gets you, as a woman, just gets you revved up and activated to say, hey, enough is enough. So what are your thoughts? What do you think of women's reproductive health? Do you also see that as a struggle for personhood and for power? Because ultimately, when you control somebody physically, you have power over them. And for generations, women have struggled against this, and they've navigated this, sphere of existence for so long, found ways to survive in the midst of oppression, in the midst of suppression and domestication and conditioning. And now women are just tired. Women are becoming activated. Women are awakening to the fact that true freedom and personhood requires that they reclaim their power. And, I don't know why some of us would expect, differently, but when you begin to take ownership and reclaim your space and reclaim your personhood, The powers that be that have taken ownership of something that is not theirs to begin with, they push back. And that's why I say that self-care is activism, because it's just another realm into which women have to battle. And it is something that is deeply entrenched, that's deeply rooted in our cultures, regardless of where you are in the world, whether you're in the West, whether you're in Africa, whether you're in, Southeast Asia, whether you're in the Middle East. It really doesn't matter. Um, this is a common thread that women are united in fighting, a battle that women globally are united in fighting. And this, like I said before, has taken on the, you know, manifestations in things like the Me Too movement and so on and so forth, where women are saying, you know what, enough is enough. And then we're getting pushback, with violence and uprising and violence against women too, verbally and physically. I was very disturbed, a couple of days ago when I was reading up on and how it all tied into this whole immigration issue and refugees coming across the U.S. border, and um, researchers really talking about who are these people that are coming across the border. These are women fleeing violence, fleeing for their lives. A story was highlighted by in one article about a woman who was fleeing with her granddaughter who had been raped by a male family member, a male neighborhood in the, somebody who lived in their neighborhood, and they were being threatened. Their lives were being threatened because they went to the police to seek justice. And in a place, I can only imagine the horror of that grandmother and the child who were subjected to these heinous crimes. You could only imagine the horror they went through, because all I have to do is think of rape culture here in the West, particularly here in the US, where women who are victimized and who are sexually assaulted, the burden of proof often still remains on the victim. Now, you take that to the 10th power in, Central America, and oh my God, it's a horror movie. So, these are just some of the things I've been looking at, reading up on, to discuss. And I also discuss this in podcasts. I'm on iTunes and Spotify at Freedom at the Crossroads. And this is just some of the things I talk about, because there are issues that relate to women, to our health and well-being and development, growth and development. And when you are wounded, when you are in bondage to pain that has been inflicted upon you and things of that nature, you are incapable of owning yourself, owning your power, reclaiming your power. You've been crippled in some way. And until you have addressed those issues, until you awaken to what is really going on in society and taking a stand and being active when it comes to your own health and well-being, things will not change. You continue to spin on that hamster wheel, going nowhere, pulled in 10 million directions, still caught up in that trap called the superwoman complex. And it's, like I said, it's a trap. And I just had to rant about it today. You can hear my kitty in the background. He and I have been squabbling because he's being a diva today. That's Leonardo DiCaprio. That's what I get for naming my cat Leonardo DiCaprio. But Leo, behave. And this is just some of the things that I have been dealing with and trying to get a coherent take on as I get ready to put together my next blog post at freedomatthecrossroads.com. And I'll also be submitting another article for review at Thrive Global. Yes, people, I published with Thrive Global finally. So check out my blog there, my latest post there, and it's talking about self-care and why it's so difficult for women. And I hope you tune in, and I hope you stay connected, and I hope you open your eyes to the movement that women are engaging in across the globe. So this is 28 from Women at the Crossroads, helping women everywhere look better, feel better without the pressure. It's time for the goddess to awaken, but more than that, you must embrace your inner huntress, because it's time to do battle. All right, till next time.